Sri Radha Krishna Temple of Devotion and Understanding in Surabaya, which is built as the country's grandest Krishna temple. The pinnacle of the day-long ceremony was the Kumbha Abhisheka, which saw holy water sprinkled on the top of the temple onto devotees after a series of prayers. Temple co-president Kalisha Dasa Lin said the opening ceremony coincided with the 50th anniversary of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, or ISKCON, founded in the United States.
Our temple is not just a temple, but we intend to give education, spiritual education through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Our temple is actually called Sri Radha Krishna Temple of Devotion and Understanding. The understanding is where we will teach people about spiritual life, spiritual knowledge, and with this understanding, they will dedicate themselves to devotion to the Supreme Lord. All religious paths lead to peaceful life, and we all seek eternal happiness.
The ceremony began at 6 a.m. with teachers and students from the ISKCON International School at its headquarters in Mayapur, West Bengal, India, performing rituals at the 3-story Platinum Street Temple. There were also fire sacrifices and prayers, followed by the bathing ceremony of Lord Krishna and the sanctifying of the Sri Radha. The 7 million ringgit temple, which took 6 years to build, is started to be the first Hindu temple in the country to have 16 Shakti or Orient Dome shaped pavilions, 2 octagon skylight domes, and 3 main Shikhara domes.
Vibhavari Shesha Loka Provesha Nidrachari Uttajiva
Vibhavari Shesha Loka Provesha Nidrachari Uttajiva
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva
Nasimhavamana Srimadusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama
Nasimhavamana Srimadusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama
Bhutana Gatana Kaitaba Satana Jaya Dasarathi Rama
Udana Gadana Kaitaba Satana Jaya Dasarathi Rama
Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara
Yashoda Dolala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara
Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Purvana Sundara Bhara
Gopi Priya Ramana Govana Sundara
Ravana Thakora Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Rajera Kala Gopa Vrinda Palo Chitari Vamsita Hari Yogendra Vandana Srinandanandana Prajajana Bhayahari Yogendra Vandana Srinandanandana Prajajana Bhayahari Navinani Raja Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Vihari Navinani Raja Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Vihari Yashodanandana Kamsani Shodana Nikunjara Savilasi Yashodanandana Kamsani Shodana Nikunjara Savilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Ananda Vardana Premani Ketana Tulasharayo Jatrakama Ananda Vardana Premani Ketana Tulasharayo Jatrakama Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Keli Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Yamuna Jivana Keli Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namah Shivaya Sakoya Krishnaya Rakho Bachana Manamora Namah Shivaya Sakoya Krishnaya Rakho Bachana Manamora Vibhavani Shesha Loka Provesha Nidratari Uttajiva Vibhavani Shesha Loka Provesha Nidratari Uttajiva Golo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Namastapraeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Shloke Bhakti Bhagati Naistiki. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, Text number 10.
今天我们讲的是格伽瓦坛第4篇第21章第10节，Prithu 国王他的教导。
Konvasya kritim na srinoti apikno Yad vikramochishtam ashesha bhupa Lokasapala upajivanti kamam Adyapitan me vadakadma shudham Konvasya kirtim nashrinotyapikno Yad vikramochishtam ashesha bhupa Lokasapala upajivanti kaman Adyapitan me vadakarma shudham Konvasya kirtim nashrinotyapikno Yad vikramochishtam ashesha bhupa Lokasapala upajivanti kaman Adyapitan me vadakarma shudham
Adyapitam me vada karma sudham.
Om Vasya Kirtitam Nasto Tyapidino
Omasya kirtinam sudhyam
Yatur Kamamo Sthama Shesha Bhupaha
Yadviklamochistamasis-sabhuvaha
Loka Sapala Upativanti Kamam
Lokasapala upativantikamam
Atyapitame Vadakama Shutam
Adyapitam vadakarma sudham.
Ka. Who?
谁？
No. But.
但是
Asya. King Pritu.
Preto 国王
Kirtin. Glorious activity.
荣耀的活动，
Nashinoti. Does not hear.
听不到，
Abhigna. Intelligent.
具有智慧的，
Yet. His.
他的
Vikrama. Chivalry.
勇士，
Uchistam. Remnant.
剩余的，
Ashesha. Innumerable.
无数的
Bupa. King.
国王们，
Loka. Planet.
星球
Sapala. With the demigod.
和他们的伴神人，
Pachivante.
去营生，
Execute livelihood. Kamam. Desired objects.
想要的物品，
Adya api. Up to that.
直到
Tat. That.
那个
Me. Unto me.
对我
Vada. Please speak.
请讲
Karma. Activity.
活动
Shuddham. Auspicious.
吉祥的。
Translation. Prithu Maharaj was so great in his activities and magnanimous in his method of ruling that all the kings and demigods on the various planets still follow in his footsteps. Who is there who will not try to hear about his glorious activities? I wish to hear more and more about Prithu Maharaj because his activities are so pious and auspicious.
译文 Preto 国王的活动如此非凡，其统治方式充分体现了他的宽宏大量，以致所有的国王和各个星球上的半神人至今仍在效仿他。有谁会不想聆听有关他光荣的活动啊？我希望更多的聆听有关 Preto 国王的一切，因为他的活动是那么的虔诚和吉祥。
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Saint Vidura's purpose in hearing about Prithu Maharaj over and over again was to set an example for ordinary kings and executive heads who should all be inclined to hear repeatedly about Prithu Maharaj's activities in order to also be able to rule over their kingdoms or states very faithfully for the peace and prosperity of the people in general. Unfortunately, at the present moment, no one cares to hear about Prithu Maharaj or to follow in his footsteps. Therefore, no nation in the world is either happy or progressive in spiritual understanding, although that is the sole aim and objective of human life.
圣人维多拉之所以想要一遍又一遍地聆听关于特度国王的一切，是想要为普遍的君主和执政首脑们树立榜样，让他们知道他们都应该想要再三地聆听特度国王的活动，以使自己能够为人民大众的和平与繁荣忠实正确地管理他们的王国或国家。不幸的是，如今没人想要聆听有关特度国王的一切，或同他学习，因此世上没有一个国家的人民是幸福的，或在灵性上正在取得进步，尽管那是人类生活的唯一目标。
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaturmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the activities of Maharaj Prithu brought so much pleasure to Vidura. In hearing about his wonderful activities, he desired to hear again and again, to hear more and more.
所以特度国王的活动给维多拉带来了很多的快乐，所以他在聆听了之后，想要一遍再一遍的聆听。
And by hearing about the activities of a great soul like Maharaj Prithu, then we understand what should be the proper behavior, what should be the proper actions for those people following in the footsteps of Maharaj Prithu.
通过聆听一些伟大灵魂他们是如何行事的，我们就知道想要去追随他们，我们如何应该正确的去活动。
From the Bhagavad Gita, we learn that it's the nature of the leaders of society that they set the standards for others.
在国家梵歌当中，我们听到一个国家的统治者，他应该为其他人树立榜样。
In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Yad yada charati shreshtas tatta deve tarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever actions, whatever standards are set by the leaders of society, other people will follow their example.
所以国家梵歌这个诗节说到，一个国家的统治者，无论他的行为是什么样子的，他树立的这个水准是什么样子的，其他人都会去跟随。
The whole marketing industry, the whole advertising industry is all based on this principle.
所有的像是市场营销呀，他们都是基于这个原则。
You see, somebody is a big name, maybe as a sportsman or as a movie star. So they will be used to promote products, and people will see that they're using this product. They will want to follow their example.
所以我们看到广告上经常会有一些体育名人或者电影明星，他们会去打这个广告，让其他人去追随、去效仿、去买这个产品。
Somebody is a football player, and they wear this shoe, then they say this shoe, that he scores a lot of goals with this shoe, And so people will think, I will also buy this shoe, I will also be able to play football like this man.
比如说一个足球运动员，他可能为一个运动鞋打广告，说我穿着这个鞋子就拿了很多金牌，其他人就会想，如果我也买这种鞋的话，我可能也会能够去踢足球了。
So you get other famous movie stars, they use this soap for their body or this shampoo for their hair, and other people they want, this is good, I will use this.
一些电影明星他们可能会说啊，这个肥皂很好用，这个洗发水很好用，其他人就会也想去买。
We're influenced by the standards set by the leaders of the society.
所以一个国家还有具有影响力或者统治者他们设立的一些目标，我们都很想要去效仿和追随。
So the problem is in the Kali Yuga, those people who are the leaders are the most corrupt, the most sinful, the most degraded people.
但是问题是在卡利年代，那些统治者他们其实是最堕落的、最罪恶的人。
And blind people, foolish people will follow these people.
如果一个人他自己也是很盲目的，也会去追随这些统治者。
Srimad Bhagavatam describes people who are like hogs and dogs and camels and asses. They will pick the biggest hog, dog, camel, and ass as their leader.
圣典不教法坛中讲到，如果一个人他自己本身就是像猪呀、狗呀这些堕落的动物一样，他就会想要去追随最出名的、最大的那个狗和猪那些动物。
Somebody's a big hog, a big pig. They will praise another big pig for their leader.
如果一个人是一个猪的话，他就会去赞扬另外一个猪的像猪一样的统治者。
But in the past, the leaders of the society, in the past there were great souls, there were Mahajans, there were wonderful, powerful personalities of the highest character.
但是在过去呢，统治者他们其实是伟大的灵魂，他们被称为 Mahajan 的，他们是很崇高的人物。
They had the highest qualities and they set the highest standards of behavior for others.
他们通常具有最好的品质，因此他们建立的榜样，他们的这个水准也是最高的。
We were talking in previous days about Maharaj Prithu, how he was a very good example for everyone in everything he did. He was very caring for everyone. He was not proud himself.
之前我们也讲过了，Maharaj Prithu他的活动、他的行为非常的伟大他并不傲慢，他在乎和关怀每一个人。
He was a gentle soul with noble character.
他是一个很温柔的灵魂，他关心每一个人。
And there were many great kings who all had similar qualities, and they set the highest standards by their own example.
其他的很多的国王，他们也是如此，具有最高的品质所以他们以自己为榜样，他们树立的这个水准也是最高的。
So in this Mahabharata, it is stated how you should follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans. Mahajano yena gata sapanta. Follow in the footsteps of the great souls.
Mahabharata 就说我们要追随那些伟大的灵魂的脚步。
Dharmashatatvam nitam guhaya mahajano yena gata sapanta. You want to understand the absolute truth. The absolute truth is hidden in the hearts of the pure devotees. And you have to follow in the footsteps of these pure devotees. And then they can reveal everything to you.
如果我们想要去了解绝对的真理，这个绝对的真理是装在那些纯粹的奉献者的心中，因此我们要去服务和追随纯粹的奉献者的脚步。
The problem is in the Kali Yuga, people don't have that intelligence to know who to follow, and they will follow blind people.
问题是在卡利年代，这个年代的人并没有智慧，他们不知道自己应该去追随谁，因此他们通常非常盲目的追随那些不该追随的人。
It is that the blind will follow the blind. So if a blind person tries to lead other people, then he cannot expect to get any good destination.
我们会说一个看不见的盲人会跟随另外一个盲人的脚步，但是如果一个盲人他是领导者的话，他就会把大家带到深渊里面、黑暗当中。
Somebody is blind, they're going to fall into the ditch. They're going to go off the main road. They won't know where they're going.
如果一个人他是 眼睛失明的，他就会走到小路上去，脱离了正轨，走上偏道。
So in the Kali Yuga, this is the situation that the leaders, the so-called leaders of society, are basically blind people who don't have the clear vision to know which way to go.
卡利年代的情况就是这样子的，这里的统治者他们就像双目失明的人，自己并不知道要去到什么方向。
But we have selected them as our leaders, and we are following them blindly.
但是我们自己选举了这些统治者，然后非常盲目的跟随着他们。
So how can you expect to get any good result? You cannot expect to get any good result.
这样的话，我们又怎么能去期待好的结果呢？这是不可能的。
So people need to hear about great saintly personalities like Maharaj Prithu.
所以人们要去聆听那些伟大的人格关于他们的事迹，像是 Prithu 国王。
But today, who do we hear about? We hear about movie stars and sportsmen and all people who have actually no real good character.
但是我们现在会聆听谁的故事呢？我们听的更多是电影明星呀，然后运动员呐、运动明星他们的事迹，但是这些人他们的人格并没有那么崇高。
Srila Prabhupada at one point, he was going to meet Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi at that time, she was the Prime Minister of India, and Srila Prabhupada was introducing Krishna consciousness to the people of India, and Indira Gandhi wanted to meet Prabhupada.
帕布帕那个时候他见到了甘地，甘地当时是印度的首相，帕布帕想要把奎师那知觉介绍给印度的群众。
So Prabhupada had a few points which he wanted to make to Indira Gandhi. One of them was that he wanted everyone in the parliament, they should be a twice initiated Brahmana.
所以帕布帕就见了甘地几次，其中有一次帕布帕提出的建议就是，这个议会当中所有的成员，他们至少应该是2次启迪的婆罗门。
And they should all be strictly following the 4 regulated principles.
并且他们应该严格的遵循4项规范原则。
But if people are elected into positions of leadership and they have uncontrolled senses, they eat everything and they drink all kinds of things as well, then you cannot expect to get any good character from them. You cannot expect to get any good results from them.
但是如果那些被选举出来去统治的人，他们不遵循4项原则，他们不去控制自己的管官，吃任何的东西，那我们不能期待他们能够很好的统治，或者说能够带领出很好的结果来。
During Srila Prabhupada's time, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, a devotee named Balavanta Prabhu, he was the temple president of Atlanta. And we have a temple in Atlanta city there in USA, and he was the temple president. He was actually the son of a lawyer, and he was a very good talker. And so he actually tried to do some politics. He entered into a political campaign.
帕布帕当时有个门徒，他叫巴拉万提，巴拉万塔，他当时是在美国的这个Atlantic 这个地方的庙里面去服务，他就参与到了一些政治的活动当中，因为他是一个很善辩的人，很善于讲话的人，是一个律师的儿子。
So, to go in politics in USA costs a lot of money. And so Prabhupada didn't encourage it. When he heard how it's going to cost so much money, he said, forget it, we don't want to waste our money in that.
但是在美国从政的话是需要花很多的钱的，因此当帕布帕德听说他想要从政，然后这个花销会很大，就不鼓励他，就告诉他最好不要这么做。
But for some time, Balavanta was engaged in the political campaign. And he would be invited onto television programs where he would sit with the other political candidates and they would discuss together.
但是有段时间呢，巴拉万塔他是会参与到这个政治活动当中，有的时候还被邀请上电视，和其他一些政治家一起讨论一些事情。
So he would always argue to them that it's very important that if we're going to represent the people, that we have to control our own mind and senses. We have to be people of good character ourselves.
他经常会对那些人争论或者辩论说，如果我们想要去领导大家，我们自己首先应该有好的品质，能够控制自己的感官。
And if you cannot control your mind and senses, then you're not qualified to represent the people.
如果一个人不能控制自己的躯体和心意的话，他并不能去很好的领导其他的人。
And in this way, Balavanta Prabhu was preaching to them that everyone, you have to accept that if you're going to control your mind and senses, you have to give up intoxication and gambling and illicit sex and these things. These are all very against all principles of society.
所以巴拉万塔就是这样子给那些人灌输一些Krishna 世界的信息，向他们传教。他说，如果你想要控制自己的心意和感官，你需要放弃一些罪恶活动，像是赌博呀，像是吃肉啊，吸食一些、使用一些让人上瘾的物品。
And the people, the other politicians, they would agree. They would say, "Yeah, we agree. You're right."
其他的政治家会说，你说的是对的，我们同意。
And of course, they externally they agreed, but at the same time, they could not follow these principles themselves.
实际上，他们只是表面上说说而已，内在的他们其实做不到。
But still, externally, verbally, and because they're on television in front of the mass of people, they had to agree that what this man is saying is true. That cleanliness, mercy, austerity, truthfulness, these are very important principles.
因为当时大家都在电视上，所以他们表面上就说是这样子的，是对的，你是对的，像是一些好的品质，比如说清洁诚信、苦行、仁慈这些我们都应该做到。
And if one is not following these principles, then he is not a worthy person. He's not a person of any good character.
如果一个人不能做到这些品质，不能遵循这些原则，他不是一个很好的人，他的品格并不高尚。
The people in general want to trust a leader. They look up to a leader and they expect to see a good example from him.
因为通常人们是信任领导自己的那个人，希望看到对方是一个很好的榜样。
But if a person will be uncontrolled in their eating habits and drinking, then you cannot expect that this person has any good quality.
但是如果一个人他有很多不受控制的行为，比如说他什么都吃，然后他会酗酒的话，那我们不能期待这个人有崇高的品格。
The character will be doubtful because they don't have control over their own tongue.
因为他们的人格、他们的品格是受到怀疑的，因为不能控制自己的舌头。
So people were often shocked when they hear about the immoral lives of some of the leading politicians in the world or in their country.
因此当人们听到一些统治者或者政治家他们私人的生活，他们道德规范上的一些约束的时候，通常会很震惊。
People want to see good examples, but in the Kali Yuga, it is very rare.
人们想要看到好的榜样，但是在卡利年代，这个很稀有。
Even if you look at the so-called heads of religious churches, that they eat everything and they drink everything.
如果我们看那些教堂的领导者，有的时候他们也什么都吃，什么都喝。
They want to talk, they try to preach about God, but they have no standards in controlling their own senses.
他们想要去传播关于神的信息，但是他们自己并没有任何的标准要求自己，他们什么都吃。
They have in the Catholic Church, for example, they have priesthood, and the priests they have to make a vow of celibacy.
在这个基督教的教会当中，有的时候牧师他需要做出一个宣誓，我要保持真守。
But at the same time, they're eating all kinds of non-vegetarian food, and they're accustomed also to take alcohol.
但同时呢，他们又会吃肉，然后也会喝酒。
They have, and naturally, but because of these things, their minds will become very polluted, and they will become very disturbed in their own spiritual practice.
因为这些行为，他们自己的头脑就会变得很混乱，他们自己的灵性生活也会变得很混乱。
They do not know the principles of sense control. They have no understanding that they want to practice celibacy, but at the same time they cannot control their own tongue. They take all kinds of food and drink. So how is it possible? It's not possible, of course.
因为他们并不了解去控制感官的一些原则，他们想要遵守，但是同时却不控制自己的舌头，会没有标准，什么都进食，因此他们没有办法去做到很好的控制自己的感官。
So Krishna conscious philosophy is teaching us how we can live a peaceful, happy life of sense control.
因此，奎师那知觉告诉我们如何通过控制感官，我们过上一个非常快乐、平和的生活。
We get our inspiration by hearing about the lives of great saintly persons like Maharaj Prithu.
那我们这种精神的鼓舞来自哪里呢？来自于聆听关于伟大的人物，像是普图国王的事迹。
It's important for us to hear from scriptures like Mahabharata, Ramayana, as well as Srimad Bhagavatam. They tell us about the lives of great saintly persons.
因此，聆听那些经典就非常的重要，像是Ramayana、Mahabharata 和圣典部加瓦坛，因为他们会给我们讲述那些伟大人物的事迹。
But in the modern times, Kali Yuga, people simply spend their time watching movies and listening to all kinds of glorifications of mundane personalities, how they were, of all the bad things which they did.
但是在卡利年代，大家更喜欢聆听的是那些平凡的一些人物，像是一些电影明星啊，以及聆听他们做的那些绯闻和坏事。
You read about, this movie star and how they cheated and how they made so much money and how they took money from others, and this different businessmen, how they got their money by lying and cheating. If they make a lot of money, they're considered a great success, although they were liars and cheaters and they deceived everyone, but because they made a lot of money, the whole world looks up at them and glorifies them.
我们听到的故事通常是那些电影明星啊，或者是那些很有钱的人他们是怎么赚到钱的，赚到那么多钱这些人被认为是很成功的人，即使他们赚钱的手段有的时候是很低劣的，是很恶劣的通过欺骗别人的方法。
And so in the Kali Yuga, we give the glorification to all the wrong people. They don't know who should be praised, who should be glorified.
在卡利年代，我们荣耀的人是错的人，我们并不知道应该去荣耀哪些人。
But in the past, people would hear about great saintly personalities.
但是在过去，人们会聆听伟大人物的事迹，
And they would be inspired to follow their example.
他们会受到鼓舞，想要去效仿这些人。
But nowadays, we don't like to hear these examples. We don't want to follow the example of these persons.
但是现在我们不想听到这些榜样的事迹，也不想效仿他们了。
We want to follow all the very bad people, all the very degraded and corrupted people. We'll follow them.
我们想要追随的是那些坏人，然后是那些非常堕落的、罪恶的人。
This man, he took the drugs when he was this age, and he took the alcohol, and so many things they did, all the different sins which they went through,
比如说有一个人，他可能年纪轻轻就染上了毒瘾，就吸毒然后做了很多的坏事。我们通常听到的都是罪恶的活动。
And people think, oh, this is the real life. This is the life of a great leader.
人们就会想这才是真正的生活，因为伟大的人物他们的生活是这样的。
So we try to hear from pages like pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We read about Maharaj Prithu. We want to become inspired that, Maharaj Prithu, although he is a king, he is a man of the highest character, greatest integrity. He didn't compromise.
所以我们要尽量的去听博伽瓦坛上的一些故事，比如说普特国王的事迹。虽然他是一个国王，他的人格非常的崇高，他不会在任何的层面做出妥协。
Everyone else, they compromise when it comes to any kind of sense control.
但其他的人，当我们谈到感官控制的时候，控制感官，他们在这方面都会有一些妥协和让步。
They don't see any purpose in controlling their senses. They think, everybody eats meat, everybody drinks, we're just like everyone else.
他们不了解我们为什么要去控制感官。这些人会说，其他人也在吃肉，也在喝酒，所以我也这样子。
Yeah, the whole world's going to hell. It's okay, we'll all go to hell together, right?
如果整个世界都下地狱的话，那我们就一起去吧。
So, that is the thinking of the blind people, the foolish people.
这些就是那些愚昧的人，然后盲目的人，他们的想法。
But devotee is more thoughtful and careful, wants to make proper use of the human life.
奉献者应该更有思想，更加谨慎，更好的利用人类的生命。
So, any question?
大家有任何问题吗？
This re-teaching and reconciliation is very common because we hear that Jesus Christ can wipe among the disciples and told them, you should take this.
This is my blood. Is it true?
帕布的问题就是在基督教当中，刚才讲到他们会吃肉和喝酒。帕布就说，让我们听到这样的故事。耶稣他给他的门徒酒喝，说这是我的血液。
Well, yeah, they say Lord Jesus took 3 fish and fed the masses.
我们听到这个故事说，耶稣他是拿了3只鱼给他做。
But you have to understand, Lord Jesus was preaching in the desert, in a very, not very advanced civilization.
但是我们要了解当时的情况，他是在沙漠里面传教，当时的文明也不是很发展。
If there's no food to eat, then you may have to eat fish.
如果没有什么吃的话，可能他们就是要吃鱼。
But he only had 3 fish, and with 3 fish he could feed the masses, the multitude.
但是他只拿了3只鱼，然后用这3只鱼喂养大众。
But these words which are used in the Christian Bible, like the word for fish or wine, these are translations of words which are not accurate. Actually, in the Greek language, what is called fish or wine and these things, it's not as we would understand it.
但是其实他们的圣经当中现在翻译过来像是一些字眼，酒鱼他们的原意并不是这个意思。所以最初的那个语言，他们的原意是什么，可能没有被恰当的翻译过来。
You see, in the Old Testament, there are 2 books in the Christian Bible. There's the Old Testament and the New Testament. So in the Old Testament, it's very clear that the diet for the people was vegetarian. And the Lord said, I have given you all the seed of the earth, and it shall be your food. So it was not that the people were killing. Rather, the Lord would go to the synagogue, he would let the animals go free, let the birds go free, put the fish back in the sea. He wouldn't encourage the killing of all these animals.
在他们的圣经其实有2个版本，一个是古老的原旧的版本，一个是新的版本。在这个古老的版本当中，会提到人们的饮食应该是素食，也会提到这个主他把很多的动物，像是鸟啊，都给放生了。
So Lord Jesus was not a meat eater. And there's a number of articles written by Christians about this. They say Lord Jesus Christ was actually a vegetarian.
所以其实主耶稣他其实是一个素食，不是吃肉的人。
But the common people, today, people don't want to control their senses. It used to say in the Christian Bible, "Thou shalt not kill," but then they changed it to "Thou shalt not commit murder." In other words, you can kill animals, but you can't kill people.
其实在圣经当中以前是有这样一句话说你不应该杀生，但是后来人们就篡改了，改成什么呢？改成你不应该去谋杀。
So there's been a lot of editing going on in the Bible, and they change things just to suit their needs.
所以圣经呢也有很多删减的、更改的部分，他们把这一部分改了，只是为了去迎合自己的喜好。
But you do have branches of Christian tradition who are vegetarian. Like there's a branch of the Christian, there's the Seventh-day Adventists, they're vegetarian.
但是在基督教，他们的传统应该是食素的，吃素。
Jehovah's Witnesses are vegetarian.
I have a question, Maharaj. So yesterday during the initiation yagya, you said the initiation ceremony will take away some of the sinful activities people do. I want to ask why. Also, for people who are just watching the yagya, do they get benefited or purified? 我的问题是，马哈拉昨天在启迪的火祭说，这个启迪仪式会带走人们的一部分罪恶活动。我想问马哈拉是为什么？然后那些围观的人，他们是否得到净化，得到好处
Yes, many activities we do can take away sinful activities. Just like Ratha Yatra, you see Lord Jagannath on the chariot, and you can be a liberated soul by seeing the Lord on the chariot.
很多活动
Destroy sin.
很多活动可以带走我们的洗清我们的罪恶活动，比如说昨天的弹车节，当一些人他们看到主夏格纳坐在弹车上，就可以净化自己的一些罪恶活动，甚至获得解脱。
But it gives you it should give you the intelligence to stop sinning. Not that you can go on sinning, but that now that you're liberated, now that you're freed of sins, so now you should stop sin, no more sinful activities.
但是最终的它的意义是让我们获得一个智慧，获得什么智慧呢？让我们不再去做罪恶活动的智慧。如果我们的罪恶洗清了，我们最重要的是不再去继续行使罪恶活动。
As far as the fire sacrifice goes, the real purification in the sacrificial ceremony is the chanting of the holy name.
当我们讲到这个火祭的时候，最重要的一部分，带来净化作的一部分是对于圣名的念诵。
In the Kali Yuga, the only real yagya which we can perform is the chanting of the holy name.
在卡利年代，我们唯一能做的祭祀就是念诵圣名。
The other, the externally we're putting on a show, we're having building a fire, and people like to see these things, but the real purification comes about by the chanting of the holy name.
外在呢，大家可能很喜欢看到这个火祭的场面啊，所以我们做了这样一个布置。但是最重要的带来净化的是对圣名的念诵。Do people watching the yagya get purified or benefited too?
Well, it depends on them. As I said, the real benefit comes in the chanting of the holy name. So they hear the chanting of the holy name, they benefit. And if they chant the holy name, they'll get more benefit.
那些围观的人，他们是否得到净化，取决于他们有没有聆听，或者自己有没有念诵圣名。
Do they get any benefit to just sit and watch if there's no kirtan going on?
如果没有 kirtan 的话，他们只是在那儿看着，他们会得到任何好处吗？
No.
不。
那个一个人从事罪恶活动，他是这样一个习惯。如果他接触了奉爱服务，他可能这个习惯不能一下子去除，是不是通过循序渐进的方式？比如说泡泡说你抽烟，你一天少抽一支路线的，不能一下子就不抽烟，他可能做不到。所以我的问题是，清除罪恶活动是不是分两种，一下子完全彻底不做，或者是按照纠正的方式减少和多做奉爱。
So Tabu's question is, some people may have the habit of doing sinful activities. So for these kind of people, when they come to devotional service, are there two ways to stop doing sinful activities? One is you just stop immediately. The second way is, can they do it gradually?
Yes, well, it depends on the individual. Some people will stop immediately, and other people will take some time.
取决于这个个人，有的人他可能一下子就可以停止他之前做的罪恶活动，有些人可能需要时间。
It depends on how they're affected by the chanting of the holy name, and by how they've heard the spiritual knowledge, how much is actually going to their heart.
取决于他们自己对圣名的念诵，以及他们自己对灵性的知识接受的程度有多少。
For some people, they'll have to hear more and more.
有些人他们可能需要不断的去聆听，继续聆听。
Just like they say, a criminal, somebody may be a thief, and they get punished, they get caught, they're put in jail, and so that after they're punished one time, they don't steal again. But somebody else, they steal, they go to jail, they come out, they steal again. They go back to prison again. They didn't learn that stealing was wrong. But the more intelligent person, he simply heard in the beginning that it was wrong to steal, and he never stole.
比如说有一个例子，像是一个罪犯，他可能通过犯罪进监狱了。有的人呢，他这一次被抓起来，他就不会再犯错；但是有的人放出来之后，他就会再去犯罪，又被抓进去。但是有的人，他通过聆听，他知道什么是不好的犯罪的活动，他就从来都不会去做那些错的事情。
So, for different people will be different.
所以不同的人他们是不一样的。
Some people, they immediately understand about Krishna consciousness and rules and regulations. And for other people, it takes a long time.
有的人他一下子就能理解什么是Krishna知觉，其中的4项非凡原则是什么，有些人就需要更多的时间。
Prabhupada was born the whole life vegetarian, There was no intoxication, nothing like that.
帕布帕他从出生，他的整个生命都是素食，他从来没有接触过一些像是一些上瘾啊、毒品啊。
So when he met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he'd already learned everything, he already knew these things, he wouldn't do these things.
所以当他遇到 Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur 的时候，他已经知道了这些原则，他已经了解了并且能做到。
So you get people come to Krishna consciousness, they become very pure from birth.
所以有些人他一进入到Krishna知觉，他从出生自己就很纯净。
And other people have had a lot of bad association with the material world.
还有一些人，他们之前接触了很多不好的物质上的联谊。
And it takes longer time.
这种人就需要更多的时间来净化。
感谢Guru的讲课。我遇到过一个，谢谢。我遇到过一个学生，一个小女孩，她呢，小学生就偷东西养成习惯了，就每天不偷就难受。然后她自己好像就感觉我偷完东西我很快乐。她的妈妈好像在这方面对她并没有特别的一个关注教育。然后我就想问，像这样的孩子，他是前世带来的这种业报的反应呢，还是说他就是没有这种控制能力？那我们如何对这样的孩子进行这种自我控制的这种训练，还是什么品质的这种培养？
So I came into contact with a small girl. She had a habit of stealing, and if she does not steal in a day, she doesn't feel good. After stealing, she feels happy, and her mother is not taking care of that. So Mataji's question is. It is because of some of the previous life samskaras, or because she doesn't have the control to take care of her own behavior. What should we do to correct that behavior?
Yeah, you can take some scars.
我们可以说这是前世的印记。
A situation which people are, it's not by chance.
这个不是，并不是说一个巧合，可能是他过去前世的一些行为所导致的。
What can we do? You try to bring the child to Krishna consciousness.
我们能做什么？我们可以把这个孩子带入Krishna知觉。
The devotional service can destroy karma. Karma is not eternal.
奉爱服务可以去摧毁、净化我们的业力，这些业报并不是永恒的。
So mercy of the devotee will change people's karma.
一个奉献的仁慈可以改变一个人的业力。
But you have to be careful, deal with a child, that your parents won't give you the right to change their karma.
但是我们对小孩子和小孩子打交道的时候要小心一点，因为有的时候他的父母可能不允许我们去改变他的业力。
You can go to jail for
你可能会被抓起来。
influencing a child. You have to be very careful.
所以这件事情要比较谨慎。
有一个奉献者的母亲让他的儿子背一个诗节，给他奖励是你背一个诗节，我奖励你10块钱人民币。然后他问我，我觉得他就说这个方法不是太好，他也知道这个方法不好，他就问有没有比这更好的方法来鼓励孩子做奉献。他的孩子今年也就11岁，小男孩。
So a devotee mother, she's trying to make the son reciting the slokas. If the son memorizes one sloka, she gives her 10 yuan. But she knows it's not a very good way of teaching. But she's asking, is there any better ways?
Any better way? Well, better way is the child will want to learn without thinking about getting money for it.
更好的方法当然就是这个小孩子想去学习，并不是为了获得这个金钱而学习。
The child itself is just attracted to hear and to chant, to recite.
如果这个孩子他是自然而然的被一些念诵啊、聆听啊、唱诵所吸引。
Some children do get attracted from their very childhood. They become attracted to these things.
有些小孩子他们很小，年纪很小，自然而然就会有这种吸引力。
Well, again, it's some scars. It depends on previous past life.
所以这个也是取决于他们前世的一些印记。
But if you can inspire the child and encourage the child to recite without financial inducements, then that will be a lot better than just trying to encourage the material side of the child.
如果能通过某种方式让这个孩子他有这个兴趣去听的话，而不是奔着这个物质上的奖励，那对他会更好一些。
You give the child some money, what's the child going to do with the money? Maybe he'll go and buy cigarettes.
如果给他钱的话，他会用钱干嘛呢？买香烟吗？
They had a competition on the Bhagavad Gita in India, and the first one was a Muslim girl. Muslim girl. She won the competition.
在印度，他们举行过国家梵歌的一个竞赛，结果这个获奖的第1名是一个穆斯林的女孩。
She didn't get any She didn't want the prize. She was happy to take part in the competition.
他并没有想去获得什么奖品或者奖项，只是自己很想参加这个竞赛而已。
So you do get these kind of children. When I was in India, they told me there was this one young child, only 4 or 5 years old. They'd learned to recite the whole Vishnu Sahasranam. And they were going, the very young child could recite the whole thing. Somehow the parents encouraged the child had responded and took up the study, reciting the whole thing. So then they put the child into a special school. The followers of Madhvacharya, they have a Sanskrit college. And they send the children there so that from a very early age they learn Sanskrit. And then they study up until they're about 21, 22. And they learn all the arguments of Madhvacharya and how to defeat Mayavadi philosophy.
我们的确有这样很特别的小孩子，在印度我见过一个4、5岁的小孩，他那个时候的年纪就能够背诵整个的Vishnu Sahasranam，他的母亲就会向他分享一些事情。这个小孩子他的接受度很高，他很愿意去接受。最后他们把他送到了一个特殊的学校，这个学校他是会用梵文教授，从小就是教大家梵文，然后会教他怎么去，这个学校建立者是 Madhvacharya 的追随者，所以会教学生怎么去学习Madhvacharya 的一些教导，怎么去打败那些非人的主义者。他会在学校一直待到21、22岁这样子。
So they have this kind of schools even today. They have several hundred students there studying Sanskrit. After they graduate, then they can decide what they want to do. Some will become priests, some will become the pujaris in the temples, and some will be, very few, may go on to become preachers.
所以那个学校现在也是存在的这样子的学校。那个学校可能有几百个学生，他们毕业之后，有的人可能会成为一个祭司，有的人可能会也很少的人会出去传教。
Hare Krishna. I just want to add on that point about enticing children with money. So I did that to my children when I was trying to get them to do RP once a week. So in the beginning they were not interested. So I said, I give you all one each, one son, one daughter. It's $50 Australian each to do an RP. So after about 3-4 weeks, they never bothered. They just continue doing. So I think it's a matter of getting them to do it repeatedly. Once they get the pace of it, then now they are specifically doing for now more than 20 years. They just do it every week, follow it up. They will do it naturally. It's a repetitive that makes most important. If you keep on trying to do, then they will find a habit of doing it. Sometimes money is needed to just keep on.
帕布就分享他自己家孩子的故事。他的2个孩子小时候，帕布就会让他们俩每周做一次 RT，用什么方法激励他们呢？就是每周做 RT 会给他们俩50个澳币。刚开始是这个方法，但是做着做着，孩子们逐渐会培养出品味来，之后他们就不在乎这个钱，就自己就很想去做。所以帕布说，有的时候你可能需要金钱去让他们开始这个行为。后来他们自己会有品味。
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to